The energetics behind social media comments. Different comments have different energies. Certain comments, and especially recently, there's a lot of these that are actually an energy that somebody's charging up like a pendulum, and they're sending it to you, hoping that you're going to get triggered so that you can charge up that energy and send it back to them. So you can both have a pain body attack together and essentially get nowhere fast. You really got to watch out for these. It's so tempting to want to focus on the one negative comment or maybe the few negative comments and respond to those. But you can always tell when that charged and triggered energy is there based on like sometimes a long wall of text. It's an unprecedented response. It's a imbalanced reaction to what is just a post. And people are really taking their identity to be what they believe. So I just want to caution you about putting energy into these types of dynamics. It's really just a huge distraction. It takes a lot of energy from you and it goes nowhere fast. Now on the other side, there's an open-ended energy. There's a positive energy. What you want to realize is that if you don't agree with something, you don't have to engage in it. It's not your responsibility to change someone's mind. So if you're seeing a post and you're like, man, they're being a little bit over the top and ridiculous, and you want to post something, kind of keep it, what you want to do is you're walking into somebody's house, when you post something on their page. You're walking into their house, you show respect. You're like, hey, I don't necessarily agree, but here's what I took from it. Here's what I liked about what you said. The same way you'd give somebody a feedback sandwich, like I agree with this. This part wasn't really sitting with me, but thank you. This is the energy of how we can actually move forward. In contrast with this charged pendulum energy, which is actually just low vibration entities, our own inner demons, having a feast on us. So somebody posts something controversial, or maybe not even that controversial, and other people are triggered. You can see this in the comments in a lot of things these days. People are triggered. Now, when they're commenting, they're not commenting to like find some new common ground. Guarantee it. What they probably won't know this consciously, but actually what they want is someone to disagree with them even more so they can get even more angry and triggered and upset and bitter and judgmental. That's actually what the subconscious wants, because these low vibration entities, the more you can get angry, bitter, resentful, and judgmental, the better for them. You excrete more of that loosh. You excrete more of that low vibration food and sustenance for them, and they just eat it up. They're just completely pimping you. So I would say do your best to really mitigate that. Do your best to not engage in that. Be able to discern the difference between what I call an open-ended comment, real feedback, real dialogue, versus, and we need that. We do need that. But these days there's a lot of comments that are going nowhere fast. And you really got to be able to discern that and understand that if somebody's coming onto your page and giving you that energy, there's just no respect there. So it's up to you to command respect. You don't have to answer any of those messages. I'll say why. Because a lot of the times you answer the message thinking you're going to come to some new solution. You're going to come to some new thing. And then they'll be like, oh, wow, I respect you more. But what actually happens is now you just fed the pendulum back. And even though you're like, all right, pendulum, okay, let's make it positive. You send it there, and then they get it, and they're like, and then they're like, negative, and they charge it and they send it back. As soon as you put energy into it, it's a dynamic. You decide, I'm going to put energy into this. Then you've said, I give my permission for these energies to take place in my life. You've told the universe, I accept, I condone, I give permission to engage with these energies. And then so long as you do that, the energies will continue to persist in your life. We are very sensitive beings, so be careful what you give permission to engage with in that way. Now, I don't want to discourage open-ended communication and conversation and dialogue. It's very important that we can agree to disagree, but please know the difference of like, will this person have the mental, emotional, and cognitive capacity to agree to disagree? I've seen a couple posts lately on my channel on Instagram of people who do not have the capacity to agree to disagree, and then some where people did, and it was just so nice and refreshing. I still didn't want to send a lot of energy, but I could tell like, oh, if I did engage, then we could agree to disagree, and that's totally amazing. So this is key. Watch out for this. It'll drain a lot of your energy. And if you're going to comment on other people's stuff, what I'd recommend to stay in the highest vibration is comment on things you love. This will get you in a love loop. Really support people. If you're, focusing on the things you hate, you just got to ask yourself, why am I focusing on the things I hate? Constantly focusing and commenting on things I disagree with. It's like your mind, you don't realize it's negatively polarized. You don't realize that there's a certain energy for being for something, pro. I'm like pro New Earth. And there's a certain energy for being anti something. Trust me, different energies. So I'm pro New Earth. There's a lot of people who are like kind of anarchist or whatever. And of course I have many things I disagree with in terms of our current systems, but I'd rather focus on what we can co-create moving forward. And when the current systems do come up, have an open-ended discussion, open-minded discussion, really without being triggered about like, hey, what's going on in the world and how can we make it better? Because that energy of being anti something, that energy of kind of pushing and resenting and hating on a thing, you don't realize it's negatively polarizing your mind. So it's draining your energy and your resources so that you can't actually create the thing you do want. It's a trick. It's like a trick of the devil. It's like focus on what you don't want. And you think it'll help you, but it kind of pulls you actually into what you don't want. It's kind of like you're walking along a cliff and you keep on looking at the side of the cliff and you're like, I don't want to walk there. I don't want to walk there. I don't want to. And you start walking over there and you're like, don't walk there. Don't fall off the cliff. You're like, I don't want this to happen. And you just keep going that direction. So this is how our subconscious works. What you focus on, you energize. What you focus on, you move towards. I'm telling you, this is a deep principle. So whatever you're energizing in your life, whatever you're putting energy to in comments on social media, be aware of this. Support people who you love. Thank people who've given you valuable content. It'll create an upward spiral in your life. When you are grateful for others, it's a gift to you. And when you are bitter, resentful, and judgmental to others, it's a detriment to you. So this is my big tips. Watch out for the comment thing. Be aware that there's low vibration energies that are charging up a pendulum. And what they want is you to charge up the pendulum, comment back, and start a little controversy war. And the more you charge the pendulum back and forth, the more both of you lower into your own inner hell, your own little hell on earth. You get to have that if you want. And I'm not perfect at this. I've definitely fell into it. I think a lot of times we feel guilty. We feel like, man, I wish they could, just have some respect or honor my perspective, or maybe I can share something and they'll see and they'll be able to kind of give me some love for where I'm at. This is kind of a little bit of that people pleaser thing that a lot of us are moving through right now. What I want you to know is that it's not your responsibility to get everyone on board with you. You'll have your fans, you'll have your haters. Probably most people will be your fans just because we're on the rise right now in terms of consciousness on planet Earth. So people are generally very loving and supportive, especially if you have good intentions and you're a good person. You're going to probably see a lot of support. So focus on that support, energize and fuel those. Be grateful for those people. Those are the people you want to be sending positive energy and comments back to. Anyways, this is just my philosophy. If you don't agree, from my opinion, you don't have to believe my opinion, but from my opinion, it's your loss because this will save you so much time and energy. And I have a feeling that you'd probably just in 10 or 20 years or however long, end up just being like, oh wow, like I've wasted so much time doing that type of controversy commenting. Like when you when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be like, you know what? Thank God I totally argued with people online for whatever. You know what I'm saying. You're not going to say that. Yeah, Mickey Mouse voice. So that's it. Be aware of this. This is the energetics behind social media comments. This can change your life. It can save you literally so much time and energy and actually raise your vibration. So be aware of this. Be able to discern when you're looking at a comment section. Is this an open-ended, positively polarized, charged commenting section or specific comment? Or is this negatively polarized and actually just looking for you to fuel a pendulum, send it back, and really get pimped out by your own inner demons? That's it. And you know what? No judgment against it, because it still is an energy source. I want to make that clear. It's still an energy source. We're all trying to get energy. And so when you're bored, when you're tired, and you're like, your subconscious is looking for energy. It's like, oh, if I just write this comment, that'll maybe trigger the other person. And then they give you this wall back and you're like, oh my God. And you get all this energy. So it's an energy source. And that's valid from that perspective to do that, because it energizes you and actually can make you feel more awake, more alert. It can be part of your process of moving up in vibration and in consciousness. So completely honorable, completely understandable. But a lot of us are just moving past that, and we're moving into a new space where we see that as kind of a more crude form of deriving energy. That's it. I love you. Peace.